Alright boys, high noon, almost the 60th day of November. Now I'm just going to show two units here. The Manticore with a stock coal, the M11, and the old triple score with its stock coal. So this one has multi-IQ plus in it, supposedly. I don't know what that thing's got in it. It's multi-frequency, evidently. Is what I'm going to show you here have anything to do with processing or frequency weighting or frequency used? Because there is a distinct difference in these two machines. And I'm going to show you here, okay? We've got that piece of metal there, which is a U.S. nickel non-ferrous, and we've got that non-ferrous target right there. That's part of an item I used yesterday showing a nuance. Comparing machines, you know, showing their nuance, audio nuance behaviors. Alright? So here's the Manticore. Now the ID on this machine right here is normalized real good. And what I mean by that, if you change the frequency, that nickel there stays pretty tight for ID, okay? All-terrain low conductors, you see that? That's the nickel now. All-terrain high conductors, you see that? All-terrain general, you see that. So that's multi-frequency. Everything you just seen in this machine is multi-frequency. Now I can go to the fast program. We'll look at it. Let me match the horseshoe. I've got disc in the machine. You see that? So on that nickel there, this machine does a pretty good job across the different multi-frequency modes. What about that? We'll repeat what we just did. All-terrain low conductors. You see that? All-terrain high conductors. You see that? Quite a jump there, huh? All-terrain general. You see that it's fitting in between the all-terrain low conductors and the all-terrain high conductors. All-terrain fast. You see that? So it reads similar to the general program. So in the wild, if I had all-terrain low conductors selected or all-terrain high conductor selected as my favorites program. Let's see here. Here's all-terrain high conductors right here. Okay, so I'm in it. So I've swept that target there. I don't see any masking in the screen, but now remember, all-terrain high conductors is not as lively on that lower conductive trash. Okay, I've got the horseshoe button in. We don't hear any iron, do we? Now I would want to come around that target. I don't hear any iron. Hit my favorites key, which takes me to all-terrain low conductors. You see that ID? No iron, and no lower conductive trash showing up over there. So I could probably deem that a possible junk target, right? Which that's what it is, and I'll show you, give you a closer look at that here in just a moment. Okay? So you see what this machine does. It stays very stable on that nickel, which would be a desirable target, more so, versus the El Junco. Now remember, I can't change the frequency on this thing in the multi-frequency bands other than doing noise cancel shift, okay? And that's not going to yield really any results. It's not going to change the results there to speak of, okay? On comes the triple score. Naturally, a triple score user might benefit from watching this video. All right. So we'll go to field first. See it up there? Field M1, here's the nickel. You see that? Field M2. Field M3. Park M1. You see that? Park M2. No problems there. Park M3. So nice and stable there for ID for all practical purposes. Okay, now we're going back over here to field, and we'll start in the same order again. Field M1 over the trash target. You see what I've got for ID? Field M2. Got the same ID. Field M3. Got the same ID. How about that? Now I'm over here in park. We're going to start with M1. Same ID. Look at that. Park M2. Same ID. Park M3. That's the only one that's different. Out of all 6 that I swept with this machine, only one is different. Park M3. But that machine there, looking at all-terrain low conductors, all-terrain high conductors, general and all-terrain fast. Now granted, the general and all-terrain fast read pretty close. But all-terrain low conductors, comparing it to all-terrain general, comparing it to all-terrain high conductors, significant ID difference in the window. Unlike the Manticore does on the nickel. Okay? Now, remember, you're in the wild with this machine, and you come across this. Let's say you were hunting in Park M2. So you've got that signal there, and you hit that button and you go to M3. You see that rise of ID. Well, remember, that could be caused by a lower conductive masker. Okay, and that's what I talked about, looking at that machine at all-terrain low conductors. If there's a little piece of foil down there bothering a target, all-terrain low conductors on that machine right there is probably going to snip it out, okay? It's going to snip it out with ID. You're probably going to snip it out with that trace. Now, this machine here don't really have a trace. Okay, so that is a difference in these 2 models here. That junk target, when you change this multi-frequency, whatever I'm doing, when I change that M1, M2, and M3, and then the field program, there's no change of ID on that target. Now, I swept that target about 3 inches above with both of these machines with their stock coils, okay? Almost forgot. Here's the close-up of that target. See that? I broke it off of this bigger piece here. Okay, I'm going to give you a side view of that. You see that? All right.